Good morning, friends. I have a new ornament to share with everybody today. One of the little kind of crossover ornament tags for Christmas as part of Saturday Morning Makes. And I know this may not appeal to everyone, but even if you don't, even if blue and white and the blue willow is not everyone's favorite, I'm hoping I can show you a few tricks in this video that you can use with your own projects. So I love blue willow. I have a few pieces that were my grandmother's on my dad's side, and I love using them. And so a few months ago, I ran across a package of napkins in a store that had the blue willow type design on it. And so I've kind of had this project in the back of my mind to do ever since I found these napkins. So that was my inspiration and my love of blue willow to make these. So I also want to give y'all a few little tricks on this if you've never thought of using velvet ribbon in your with your dies. Velvet ribbon makes wonderful die cuts, especially at Christmas. So I will talk about how I did that in a second too. But these are the little ornament tags that I made. And y'all, this one does not have very many pieces in it. And it's a fun little project to work on. And I finished the back side of this as well, so it could hang on a tree. Let me show y'all. So it's got the velvet scarf and the little glittery button and the little Merry Christmas tag. And then this to me kind of looked like a little blue willow platter. So I added that and the little snowflake charm and the bell. So that's what we're going to make today, y'all. And like I said, if you don't love blue willow or chintz, you can still, I think, take some of these tips because I have a few little tricks to tell y'all about. Okay, so the first thing that I used was this Impression Obsession die. I believe this is an Anna White. It's the large snowman die 884-U. So I used that, and I used the snowman, the scarf, and the button out of that. So I used that, and I used the Spellbinder SDS 168, and it is the Christmas greetings, and I used the little Merry Christmas and the little die that cuts the little banners. So I used that for the Merry Christmas and to cut the banner. And then I used from Cathe Holden from Spellbinders, Handmade Holidays, STP-147. I used, let me pull it out, y'all. I used this little oval stamp right here to make the little platter to hang on. So I used that. And then from My Creative Time, I used the little snowflake. And this is the Christmas Charm dies MCT-D474. So I used that for the little snowflake. Those are the only pieces that went into this, y'all, other than the napkin that I used. Okay, so let's talk about this. So for however many ornaments you want to make, cut two. Cut the piece that you're going to glue your napkin to, and then cut a piece for the back side if you want to finish it. And I will tell y'all in a second why I wanted to finish the back of this. It was for two reasons. But for the paper, I want to give y'all a little hint slash trick if you're ever wanting to Mod Podge napkins onto paper. I like to use the Mixed Media Rough by Canson or a watercolor paper, either one. But you want to use something that has a little bit of texture to it. You don't want to use a smooth because the texture will allow the glue and the Mod Podge to kind of settle down into the base layer of the paper some, instead of your napkin wicking it up as you put it on or as you Mod Podge it. And, you know, it gives you all the bubbles. So when I go to glue the napkin down onto my paper, I use Tombow Mono Liquid Glue, and that's what I glue the napkin to my base paper with, okay, y'all? And I know a lot of people would like to just Mod Podge the bottom layer, and that's fine. For me, I have found I glue that first layer down. I found that works a little bit better. It doesn't bubble as much. So that's how I start. So you will cut your base layer. You will cut your snowman out of the napkin, and you will glue it down. Okay, so that's what you'll end up with. And then after you glue it down, take some Mod Podge, and I used the satin finish, but you can use whatever you like, and brush over the top of it. And it doesn't take that long to dry. I let this dry overnight, but it'll dry, you know, pretty quickly. But you can see as it dries, it kind of gives you a unique little texture, which I think is kind of neat. All right. And you can see you really don't end up with, like, you know, a bunch of bubbles and whatnot. And I think that the textured paper helps with that. So use that. And then I had you cut 2 snowmen for each one. So you will glue your extra one after it is dried to the back. And when you do that, y'all, it works for 2 reasons. It helps to finish the back side of your ornament, but where your paper has a tendency to curl a little bit where you use the Mod Podge, when you glue it down to your back side, it smooths your ornament back out. It gives you a really flat piece to work with again. Okay, and so it gives you the finish. Now, I took for the back, y'all, this is the closest ink I have found to giving you that blue willow color, and it is the Distress ink by Tim Holtz. It's the Prize Ribbon Blue, and to me, it's a perfect blue willow color. So that's the ink I used to kind of highlight around the edge of the snowman, so he would be finished on the back side. So that's what I did. Okay. So that gets you to that. So this is where I wanted to talk about how I did the scarves out of velvet ribbon. If you have any velvet ribbon, and this is wired, or it's more of a velveteen, it's only one-sided, cut you a little piece for however big your die is. Trim off the edges where the wired is if you're using wired ribbon. I think that helps it run through the die machine a little bit smoother. And then, y'all, you can cut little pieces of accents out of your velveteen ribbon. And I think this is perfect to use at Christmas time. So that's how I made his scarf velvety. And it just gave it that deep, rich velvet look, as well as also giving it that texture, which to me is so Christmassy. I love velvets and taffetas and velveteens at Christmas. It's just not normally cold enough at Christmas to justify having outfits out of those, but I do love mixing them in my Christmas decorations. So that's how I got the velveteen scarf. And y'all, it cuts really, really well with your dies. So I used that for the scarves. I used a little bit of glitter paper for the button. And then for the ornament hanger, I used just some unwired little skinny velvet ribbon, and I just tied that as a little ornament tie and hot glued it to the back. Okay. And let's see, y'all. So that is what the little platter looks like, or I'm calling it a platter. I'm sure it's not supposed to be, but it gave me plate vibes. So that's what that looks like. And I just fussy cut those out, and I glued those to the bottom of my Creative Time snowflake, and added a little jingle bell and some little gems for extra sparkly. And then, y'all, I just took a little bit of blue twine and tied my little pin onto the velvet ribbon with that, because I wanted it to kind of be able to slide behind the edge of the snowman head and just dangle like that. All right. So y'all, that was all that went into making this, and I hope y'all love Blue Willow as much as I do, but if you don't, I hope you can use a few of these tips and tricks in your own creations, and y'all have a great Saturday, and I'll see y'all in a couple of days.